Moon Pilot is interesting. It's not necessarily my kind of film. I can't say I loved it, but it wasn't terrible, but also the pacing wasn't great. I watched this as part of my mission to watch every single Disney film, and this one was released in 1962, directed by James Neilson, written by Maurice Tombragel and Robert Buckner. And this stars Tom Tryon as Captain Richmond Talbot, and we have Dany Saval as Lyrae. And this is about a man who is going up to the moon, and this woman suddenly appears and starts to follow him and gives him some unusual messages that he doesn't really want to listen to, but there's something about her that's quite compelling, and he and us as the viewer are kind of inclined to see what she has to say. Of course, whether or not he listens to her, uh, I won't say, but certainly it was an interesting concept. It's a definitely very creative concept, very well acted. I think that's definitely something that's worth praising. But as I said, the pacing is quite slow. I feel like it didn't start to get interesting, certainly until Lyrae came into it, but really even until about halfway through. It wasn't until about halfway through that I kind of took an interest in it. And even then, I can't say I loved it. But I do have to acknowledge that it's not my kind of film. I'm not interested in films about space travel. I'm not the biggest fan of sci-fi or any films that kind of deal with, moon travel or outer space. Um, Obviously, at the time, 1962, this would have been a really fascinating concept given what was going on, and definitely could have been quite interesting and intriguing. But honestly, I can't say I loved it, and I don't know if I just didn't really care for it because it's not my kind of film, or if it was because it was a bad film. Normally, I can quite easily tell if something's a bad film, but honestly, I'm still kind of on the fence. So if you have a strong opinion either way, I'd love to know what you think of it, even if you have a not very strong opinion. The big question being, would I recommend it? Well, as a film on its own, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're watching all of Disney's films, then sure, give it a watch. It's not terrible. I don't regret the time I spent watching it, but I certainly can't imagine I'd ever watch it again. A fun idea, a relatively okay execution, not my ideal kind of film, so if it's not great, I'm not really going to enjoy it very much. And it was also quite shouty at the beginning, which in itself is not a bad thing, but it just felt unnecessary. Not badly acted, not badly shot, definitely some positives, but ultimately not the best.